is making her first start of the season. Selena Monestheim, Amaya Williams with Alana Sellers and Meghan KENEFICK have each started the first two games of the season for the Blue Devils. Now for the Minute Women, also 0-2, lost to New Hampshire here on Thursday to open their home schedule. And it's the same starting five for Mike Leffler as the first couple of games, with the freshman McHale in the backcourt alongside Ali Palmieri averaging 17.5 points per game. And it's Kuleja with Olbreeze and Odenigbo in the front court. So a Sunday afternoon here in Amherst, and it'll be Odenigbo and Alana Sellers to tip. A couple of teams looking for their first win. Glad you're with us on this Sunday with Aaron Salvador. I'm Alex Jensen, and the tip controlled by the Minute Women, who got off to a good start, Aaron, on Thursday. And right away, Megan Olbreeze making her presence known in the middle.
Game plan, get it inside, get started there, and they're right on target.
Here we see a little bit of pressure from UMass. Central Connecticut State expects the Minute Women to change up defensive looks. Quick offense, KENEFICK rattles in a jumper.
And she can do that, our player of the game. She can hit that mid-range jumper when you leave her open.
UMass trying to establish the inside game, and this time it's the sophomore Odenigbo who misfires, but stepping in the passing lane, Yamani McHale comes away with a steal. Both teams converting on their first trips down the floor. Here's Olbreeze again. Defense converges, and a deflection and a turnover. Back the other way. KENEFICK draws a foul on Odenigbo, and Meghan KENEFICK will go to the line. She scored the first bucket for the Blue Devils, Aaron, and she's going to go to the line for two shots.
Yeah, she's taking it right to the hole and being that strong leader. And I think some of the keys to the game we've already seen. You know, Central Connecticut's had a turnover, and they really need to limit that today. And they really need to be offensive execution is very important, sharing the ball. For UMass, they need to own the paint. They want to go to the paint early, which we're seeing here. They also need to create offense off of defense, get a lot of turnovers with their pressure.
KENEFICK splits the free throws. Well, in terms of offensive execution, as Ali Palmieri misfires on a three, that's one thing that Wade Veeney, Central Connecticut State's head coach, really outlined for us. Sticking it back in, Stephanie Kuleja to give UMass the lead.
Kuleja right there looked like it was last season. You know, she's coming into her own, crashing the boards and putting it right back in. That's what they're going to need from her.
A key player for UMass, who averaged double figures a year ago, led the team in rebounding. Three on the way. That's Snoween off the mark, but the offensive rebound stays with the Blue Devils.
So UMass is here in their 2-3 zone to start.
It's the free throw line area. Amaya Williams, 8 on the shot clock. Williams baseline, steps through, lost it, and Odenigbo comes away with the steal. Second turnover.
Yeah, there's 6'5" Odenigbo. She's been doing a great job being tough. There she is on the ground already.
They love her upside. Mike Leffler and company, as now the Minute Women get set in the half-court offense. UMass with a 1-point lead. Just 2 minutes into the ball game. Each team looking for its first win, and a foul downstairs on Selena Monestheim. So there is Wade Veeney. Pardon me, Aaron. Wade Veeney, a 9-23 year in her first season as Central Connecticut State head coach in her second year. Longtime assistant at Temple, also played at Eastern Carolina. Quick offense. Kuleja is 2 for 2.
She's coming out strong. That's a good sign for UMass.
Well, she's someone that Mike Leffler told us really wants to get going, and he's felt that she's put a little bit of pressure on herself this year as a senior. Just said, hey, make the little plays, everything will kind of fall into place as the Blue Devils turn it over for the third time.
And she's doing that. She's putting in the effort, and she's maybe those jitters, first game jitters is gone.
There she is again, lost the handle on the way up. And the Blue Devils with the rebound. UMass 3 of 6 to start the ball game. Central Connecticut State is 1 for 2 with 3 turnovers, but downstairs and underneath, that's Alana Sellers. They love her potential, and she scores on the block.
She did a nice job there. UMass switches up defenses. They went into player to player. They identified it well, and Sellers has really been their big scorer as far as going to the hole. She's very strong, and we saw that there.
There's Mike Leffler looking for his first win on the season. UMass, of course, a tough season in 23-24, going 5-27, but elevated to the head coaching role. And a lot of new faces for Mike Leffler, Aaron. 7 newcomers. They lost 5 of their top 6 scorers. So in the early going, he's kind of looking for everybody to find their role.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the first 2 games, people have played different roles and kind of are settling into the team and the system, both on offense and defense. And it's nice to see people progressing each game.
Off the offensive rebound underneath, Aaliyah Sorrentino has it stripped. And now on the run, one-on-one. Amaya Williams high off the window, doesn't go. Good play by Sellers, keeping it alive for the Blue Devils.
She's a force on the board there, and here they get a second possession here on the half court, which is good for them, getting extra buckets, extra looks.
KENEFICK, yes.
That's her shot, mid-range. They're going to have to get a hand in her face and adjust on that one.
Meghan KENEFICK. Wayne Vini told us that she's really stepped her game up this year. They're relying on her a little bit more.
Yeah, even from game 1 to game 2, she had her first career double-double last game, and you can tell she knows she needs to be the leader on the court, and you'll see her, given a congratulations and let's keep going to her teammates a lot. And as Coach Vini was saying, she really, really needs that out of her.
1-point Blue Devil lead. Central Connecticut State 3 of 6 from the field. UMass has missed its last 4. So Maya Williams controlling point, the senior out of Syracuse, New York. And a whistle, and maybe an inadvertent whistle. Today's officials, Brittany White, Brandon Appel, and Justin Paluch.
We've got a good crew here. We'll see what the call is. It looks like they're calling a foul on Olbrys on the play. Oh, flop warning. I think it might be a flop warning, maybe not a foul here. Let's see what comes up.
It looks like that's the signal from Brittany White.
I'm not sure I saw that, but these are great officials. They've got their eye on the game.
Either way, that's a big foul in this first quarter. Number 2 on Olbrys. Run off the line. Williams driving. Pardon me, that is Selena Monestein getting downhill and getting to the rim.
As I said, they really need Olbrys to stay on the court. Early foul trouble is a problem.
Trying to get it downstairs. Olbrys trying to swing. It was looking high-low. Throws it away. Good hands by Monestein, and now Central Connecticut State on the run. A good touch pass, but KENEFICK couldn't hold on.
And Central Connecticut State's doing a great job of turning great defense into offense, and they're really running this transition hard and looking for it early. It's been good for them.
The pace of this game has been up and down so far. A 6-0 run for Central Connecticut State. UMass has missed its last 4. The freshman point guard McHale lost the dribble, gets it back and can't get it to go.
She's done such a great job this year coming in from Queens as a first year, and she's very comfortable taking it to the hole, as we saw there.
Halfway through the first quarter, KENEFICK off this time, and Ali Palmieri with the basketball and on the run. Locates McHale, wide open 3, yes.
I've seen that in practice a lot. She's money from an open 3-pointer, so good for her.
As a freshman, it's been a bit of an up and down first couple of games for McHale. Battled through some foul trouble against UNH. Nice back cut, and Monestein collects the pass from Meghan KENEFICK, and an easy deuce.
Yeah, really good communication there. KENEFICK is a great passer. Just looked to her teammate who went back door and really got another easy bucket. So they're executing on their offense really nicely so far.
Good back cut, and the Minute Women free up their leading scorer, Ali Palmieri, who gets her first points tonight.
A lot of good ball movement for both teams. Great cuts.
At your point for UMass, 4 assists on 5 field goals. Ditto for CCSU. Blue Devils break the press, and a 3. Monostheim again. She's got 7 on 3 of 3 shooting.
We're seeing some great scoring here. That redshirt freshman has really stepped up, and this game's not too big for her.
Monostheim spent last year at UAlbany, and Coach Wei Vini thinks she is a perfect fit for this system. Out of bounds to UMass. And it's Central Connecticut State with an early 3-point lead. The freshman McHale high arcing. Minutewomen with the ball when we come back.
This holiday season, give the gift of sport at Dick's. Score warm jacket
upgrade, plus Pilot Pro and Performance packs. Anything less would be uncivilized. Hang on, where are the valve caps? View offers at Polestar.com.
Central Connecticut State leads UMass 14-11, as we talked about in the open. Aaron, both teams, a ton of new faces.
Yeah, and we're seeing their impact here tonight already.
Palmieri, one of those newcomers. Can't hit the deep 2. And the rebound collected by Kenny. You know, the big difference between these two clubs when it comes to newcomers, Aaron, UMass lost 5 of their top 6 scorers. Both teams have 7 newcomers. But for the Blue Devils, as you see Alana Sellers driving and scoring, 4 starters return.
Yeah, and I think Coach Feeney was really high on that and keeping that core together and just building on it from, you know, who she could bring in from the transfer portal. Just, she talked about finding those pieces that she needed, and she's feeling pretty good about how they're coming together so far. And here today, they're looking good.
Sellers comes up short. Lily Ferguson into the ball game. She scored on the last trip down the floor for the Minutewomen. It's about finding the right pieces in the transfer portal, is what Wei Vini told us. Foul Momo LeClaire also into the ball game for the Minutewomen. Foul coming on the floor. But that can really be a challenge in this new age of college athletics. You see how many of the top scorers for each team are in their first year playing for the program. So it's going to take a little while for both these teams to potentially gel before getting to conference play.
Yeah, and that's what pre-conference is for, right? To gel, to get your confidence up, to get some wins. And both of those teams both of them are gelling a lot of new people together. I think each game we've been seeing them improve. Connecticut just had a great game against Manhattan. And certainly the game against Harvard for UMass showed a lot of their strengths.
It's a deep 3 from Noeen, and a foul on the rebound is going to go on the Blue Devils. Kayla Henry picks up the personal. Sophomore of East Hartford, Connecticut.
I think that just looking at things, I think they gave Obrist maybe a flop, and she only has 1 foul, which is why we're seeing her stay in the game so far. That's certainly good for UMass.
That is huge for the Minutewomen, trying to establish her in the paint here. The Villanova transfer gets position and can't finish. A lot of missed layups as well for UMass in their home opener against New Hampshire UNH on Thursday, something that Coach Mike Leffler talked about. Both teams really searching for crisper offensive execution.
Yeah, and I think Central Connecticut has really looked good on that. Very crisp passes, finding the cutters, getting the open shot, which she said we just need to get our shots and we can hit them, which they're doing tonight, shooting over 50% from the floor.
1:20 in the quarter, 8 on the shot clock. Momo LeClaire has a pass deflected. Got to get it up here, and it's blocked by Monostheim. She's been all over the place in this first quarter.
Absolutely. She's stuffing the stat sheet already and showed her athleticism there for sure. That was a beautiful block. Beautiful.
7 points, a rebound, 2 assists, and a block. Inside of a minute to play in the first quarter. Kayla Henry gives it up. Amaya Williams, too strong on a 3.
Lily Ferguson is a great utility player, and she's tough on the boards. Brought one down there.
Here's a reach in. Called on Dagny Slomak, the freshman, just checked in. One of 3 Blue Devils leading the club, averaging 11.5 points per game. McHale back in there, rather, for UMass.
And I think that was the second on Slomak, so she's gonna have a quick seat.
Indeed it was. 2 minutes, 2 fouls. So UMass basketball. About a 22-second differential between the two clocks. Minute women are 6 of 17 from the field. McHale, catch and shoot off the front rim. And the rebound out of bounds. Last touch by Olbreeze.
Beautiful inside out there on UMass's possession, which they're looking for. Didn't go, but they're happy with that shot for sure.
Central Connecticut State, meanwhile, 7 of 14. Jessica Farrell into the ball game. Freshman out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. She's controlling point. Shot clock is off. Final 10 seconds of the first quarter. And a miscommunication on the baseline. Kayla Henry and Noeen could not connect. That will give the Minute Women a chance to end the first quarter with the basketball.
And there, Mike Leffler's making sure that Allie Palmieri gets in there off the bench for these last 7 seconds. She's certainly can score from just about anywhere, and the ball might go into her hands, I imagine.
Be surprised if she does not touch the ball in this possession. With 5 with 4, the freshman McHale to the rim, high off the window, scores just before the buzzer. What a way for UMass to end the first quarter. And a well-executed first quarter offensive. Big piece of this team. Wei Vini was effusive in her praise of the senior out of Princeton, Massachusetts. Called her a big part of this team's identity, a leader, a culture kid. And she'll be reevaluated in about 4 weeks, but a huge piece for Central Connecticut State with 7 newcomers to start their season without, and hopeful to get her back as soon as possible.
Yeah, they're certainly looking for that, and even though she can't be on the court, the coach was clear to say she's a leader off the court. She's doing any drills she can. She's running hard. She's, got everybody's back. So they'll be happy to have her on the court when they can get her in about a month, hopefully. Wei
Vini was looking at the silver lining, though. She thinks this young team could be better in the long run for having this period without Belle Lanfer. And listen, for a team out of the NEC, you're playing for conference play, and to peak from January to March as a one-bid league. And this team has aspirations to win the conference championship, and Wei Vini thinks they could do that, especially once Lanfer gets back into the mix.
Yeah, their first years are getting a lot of good time, especially in the backcourt, and they're handling the pressure better today than they have in the previous 2 games, so we are seeing them develop, and later in the season they're going to like to have them as floor generals that have gotten a lot of time.
Yeah, they thought that game against Manhattan was a great prep for UMass, and Coach Wei Vini felt her team handled the press much better in the second half, so much so that the Jaspers had to back it off. Palmieri, and maybe she'll get it going now. Her first 3. She hit 5 in her first 2 games and puts the Minute Women back on top.
The shooter gets shooting. Watch out now. She'll get hot. She can get hot. UMass is coming out in a more aggressive player-to-player defense. They even trapped on top earlier last possession. So that's probably something they really talked about at the end of the first quarter, because we can really see it different here.
It's paid off. They have forced back-to-back turnovers coming out of the quarter. Lily Ferguson, and now a foul called on Palmieri, lowered the shoulder, and Selena Monestein really sold it. It's a turnover for UMass.
She did sell it. She got in good legal guarding position in front of her. Did sell it. She's taken some acting lessons maybe in getting there in college, but did a nice job on defense there. And Allie Palmieri is not easy to guard.
Monestein, a tough shot, and a late whistle coming from the baseline, and that's on Palmieri.
Yeah.
You see the offensive foul?
Yeah, we see that foul. Monestein though really did get in front of her, as you could see there, right? She beat her to a spot, and then if you lower that shoulder, you're more likely to get it called.
2 quick fouls on Palmieri. She's got to come out now, and I believe it was Stephanie Kalasia who returns to the lineup for Mike Leffler, and free throws here for Monestein, who rattles the first one home. Boy, she's been impressive so far, Aaron, and only played in 1 game at the University of Albany last year. We're talking about Selena Monestein. Coach Wei Vini told us just because you don't work in one system doesn't mean you won't work in another, and she's one of those good fits that the Central Connecticut State was able to find in the portal.
Yeah, certainly a great pickup for them. Woo! There's that rainbow three again, Alex. It's pretty, really, really pretty. And certainly UMass was needing that.
Yamani McHale hit one from the left corner. There's one from the right. Nice drive and finish.
Sellers does a great job with that left-hand move. She really protects the ball well and goes up hard. It's hard to defend.
Kalesia short on a three. Foul on the rebound is going to go on the Blue Devils. Looks like it'll be KENEFICK. Her first foul. So UMass leads by 2. Minutewomen 3 of 8 from outside the arc. They've averaged just 4.5 threes per game through the first 2 games of this season. McHale the drive and kick. Kalesia for 3. That comes up short, but Olbreys runs down the loose ball.
Both teams playing great player-to-player defense, and I think we're just seeing really good offense as well. This is a very quality basketball game so far.
Monestein reaching in.
So that's her second, I believe. She just picked that up. So that's gonna be a little bit of a challenge for them. They're gonna have to bring someone in from the backcourt who doesn't get a lot of playing time. Also a first year playing for the system.
Kaya Weiskopf averages 5 minutes per game. So big fouls on either end for UMass. Palmieri picked up 2 fouls in about 20 seconds, and now Monestein picks up her second foul, and Monestein has been big time for the Blue Devils so far. 8 points, 2 assists rather, and a rebound. Here's Ferguson, free throw line jumper, gets the roll.
Pretty shot. She's got a nice touch, and it's good to see UMass get an easy bucket off an out-of-bounds play. That's something last year they didn't get, and those easy buckets are really important to keep the score racking up.
Coaches talk often about those baseline out-of-bounds plays. You can almost steal points if you execute them properly.
Yeah, and that was a good one.
Blue Devils have taken just 1 shot and have turned it over a couple of times in this second quarter, but now they've made them both. They both come from Alana Sellers, another driving bucket.
Sellers can hit it from the right, from the left. She gets to the hole when she wants to.
UMass on the other side, 3 of 5 in this second quarter. They've got a 2-point lead.
UMass early was getting the ball inside. The Sellers has been doing a great job on Olbreys in the post, but I think maybe going back to getting it inside and out could be helpful for them, especially with Palmieri on the bench. They're going to need some more production from inside.
McHale just can't get the roll on the runner. Points in the paint. The Blue Devils have a 12-10 edge. That was one of your keys for UMass there.
Yeah, so Central Connecticut is really, really executing it. Even though they're the shorter team, they're definitely feeling aggressive inside. They're not intimidated at all.
Sellers travels. Aaliyah Sorrentino back into the lineup for the Minutewomen, replacing Meghan Olbreys.
Sorrentino's brings 3 years of great collegiate basketball into the post. She knows how to post up. Look at that. That's a clinic. She does a great job. Little baby hook. Didn't go this time, but you can see she knows what to do with it when she gets it there, and she gets it nice and low. Transfer
from Lipscomb. This foul will go on Central Connecticut State. A lot of bodies down there.
Sorrentino, good for her, got over there, took the charge, and there's nothing like a charge that'll get the bench going. So we heard a big way to go from the crowd over there.
Those are the types of plays that make your head coach really happy, right?
Yep. Went into Sorrentino again. She got it out. She's also got a nice mid-range jumper.
Kalesia scoops it off the window and in.
Classic Kalesia. Going hard, putting it off the glass. She can do that even when it's a difficult angle like we saw there today.
Not an easy shot. Had a similar look at the end of the UNH game on Thursday.
Yeah.
Weiskopf banks in a 3.
Woo, Banks open Sunday? Well, just here in the Mullen Center.
We're down to the final 5 minutes of the half, presented by Mass General Brigham Sports Medicine. together will write your comeback story, and a timeout taken by Central Connecticut State after a bucket for Aaliyah Sorrentino. I would say both teams executing much better offensively, Aaron, today.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're really sharing the ball and sharing the points, so looking good.
Welcome back to the Mullins Center alongside Harvard Hall of Famer Aaron Salvador. I'm Alex Jensen. Glad to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon. Both UMass and Central Connecticut State looking for their first wins of the season, Aaron, and I think you dare to say that this has been the best first half that both teams have played thus far.
Yeah, and they've been really consistent. It's been a nice back and forth game.
Underneath, Sellers. Back outside, Jessica Farrell is controlling point for the Blue Devils. Weiskopf has banked in 1-3. Trying to go downstairs to Sellers again, and she is fouled. Jess Ross, the freshman out of Eastham, into the game and picks up the personal.
Yeah, she got some nice time in the exhibition against Assumption. She does some great things, I think, on both ends of the ball. Be nice to see her here in the game. See what she can do.
Played 1 minute at the end of the first half against UNH on Thursday. Another turnover on the Blue Devils. That is 10.
That's certainly causing them some problems because of the turnover difference, 10-3. UMass is actually not shooting as well, but they've gotten off 12 more shots. So that makes a big, big difference.
UMass also with 5 offensive rebounds. They've tried to establish this high-low game. Kalasia had a mismatch. Now she steps through a double team and can't finish with the right hand. Here come the Blue Devils. Weiskopf wide open on the right side. Ross
chose not to use the backboard that time. Maybe that was it.
Tim Duncan would disagree. Sorrentino, there's another one.
Automatic. You can see she's posting up. She's so low. She's so deep. She's in the paint when she gets the ball, and then she's got a little babyhood, a 2-footer. She's got a great touch around the ball. That's something you're going to go to every time you can.
Averaged 12.5 points per game each of her last 2 seasons, both coming at Lipscomb. Started her career at Ole Miss. An experienced transfer brought in by Mike Leffler to complement this young team.
Yeah, big 4-star recruit right out of high school.
Sellers with the shot clock winding down, faces up and drains a short jumper.
She says, I can do that too. Let's trade some buckets here. Showing her versatility with that little jumper right there on the baseline. She's
Sellers,
a tough one to guard.
Closing in on a double-double, 10 points, 7 rebounds with 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. Going back to Sorrentino with the left hand this time. Foul is called. No, pardon me, a travel. 5th turnover on UMass.
And Coach was telling us when we talked to her earlier this week about how Sellers really between last season and this season really got herself into great shape, and you can see her explosive and athletic prowess out there on the court. She's certainly displaying it for us here today in the Mullins Center.
Ball handling ability. 10 points, 8 rebounds against a big Minnesota front line. So she didn't have her best game against Manhattan on Thursday, and hopeful that was hopeful coming into today anyway, that would really motivate her to bring her best game this afternoon, and so far so good.
Yeah, she rises to the occasion. Like you said, she almost had a double-double against Minnesota, which is a great Big Ten team. She is not intimidated here either. She's fun to watch. She's really, really fun to watch.
Free throws here for Amaya Williams, 5'5" senior from Syracuse, New York. There you see the UMass women's soccer team in the A10 championship, trailing number 1 seed St. Louis 1-0 in the 28th minute, and that's in St. Louis, Missouri. We'll keep an eye on that as this game winds along. A big day for the UMass women's soccer program. Maya Williams hits both free throws, and the lead for the Minute Women back to 1. McHale working the pick and roll, threw it into traffic, and KENEFICK, good hands, coming away with the steal. Blue Devils are 4 of 5 in the second quarter.
Momo LeClaire out there guarding guard and the point guard. She brings a lot in as a transfer as well. It's a great experience on a really good Drexel team.
Played in the NCAA tournament a year ago with the Dragons. McHale, quick offense. Not this time. And it's Farrell, the freshman, for the rebound, pushing ahead. The outlet to KENEFICK, who's fouled from behind by Kalesia. For the transition offense for Central Connecticut State, they've been opportunistic when they've looked to push the basketball.
Absolutely, and those are easy buckets, right? Like I said, you need those easy layups, and they're getting them, and that's why they've got, 28 points right now.
Lily Ferguson returns to the lineup.
Beautiful pass, too, there, and a little bit of traffic, but really nicely delivered. I think she's been watching a little Caitlin Clark film.
Well, we knew in this lineup, or in this matchup, rather, as KENEFICK rims in the first free throw to tie the game, that Central Connecticut State felt its point guard play would be key against the UMass press and the different looks. That was a nice play by the freshman point guard, Farrell. Yeah,
absolutely, and they've been handling the pressure. I think Coach was worried a little bit about the different defenses they would throw at him and how they would respond, and they've certainly kept their composure and really done a nice job leading the offense.
So now it's the Blue Devils back up by one. Final minute and a half of this first half. McHale with 13 to shoot. Drive, tough shot, it goes down, and the foul.
Woohoo! That was beautiful. That was a nice move. And she sizes it up. I can take this girl. Boom, kiss off the glass. And UMass needed that. That was a good bucket. Good for her. She's looking for a three-point play here.
Snaps a 5-0 Central Connecticut State run. And McHale, who was saddled just 18 minutes with foul trouble against UNH, completes the three-point play and gives the Minute Women a 2-point lead. And now some full-court pressure.
Yeah, they're showing their 1-2-2 trap for the first time in the game, and they trapped right there on the sideline. So that's what they're looking to do on this one. And you can see Central Connecticut huddling up. Sellers putting her arms around them and saying, it's okay. It's okay. Next one, we now know when that comes what we're going to do.
A little bit of extracurriculars there between Weiskopf and Kalesia.
Both of these teams are hunting a win. And, this has been a great battle back and forth. And I think they're trying to leave it all out on the court.
The Blue Devils in the bonus.
Sometimes tempers fly a little bit, but good sportsmanship, and the game goes on.
Kaya Weiskopf shooting free throws, redshirt freshman out of Ridgefield, Connecticut. All-State in high school. Of course, sat out last year. Splits the free throws.
And UMass, I'm just looking at the score and looking at who's on the bench. Palmieri's been out a lot of this first half, and for them to have scored 32 points, kind of by committee here, it is good when she's on the bench. They're getting through that time.
It's got to make Mike Leffler happy. 11 for the freshman McHale. Kalesia with a half dozen. Here is McHale. Dallas Pierce is into the lineup for the first time. Ferguson underneath. Can't get it to go over Sellers, who swallows up the rebound. Final 60 seconds of this first half. UMass with a 1-point lead. Who will take the momentum into the locker room? KENEFICK isolated. Tough shot, it deflected and it drops through. I'm not sure that she was even shooting that, and now a turnover on UMass as Dallas Pierce dribbled toward the corner, tried to throw it off of Weiskopf. But what a momentum swinging 10 seconds for UConn. How about this shot?
She didn't look like she was surprised afterwards, right? I do that every day, folks.
5 seconds between the two clocks. It's been a good first half. Weiskopf is open, and she hits a three. Well, that's a big swing with halftime 13 seconds away.
Central Connecticut really, between steals and back-to-back buckets. Absolutely, they're going to like that.
McHale with the clock winding down finds Olbreeze, and Olbreeze is fouled with 9/10 of a second left. And once again, it's the freshman point guard creating when the Minute Women needed it.
She sure did, and she found Olbreeze. Olbreeze right there under the bucket. So she was either going to two or go to the foul line. And she'll be looking to convert these two and bring it into a 2-point game.
Olbreeze hits the first free throws. Recruited by UMass out of high school. Spent a couple of years at Villanova. One start as a sophomore and then came back to her home state. Norwood native misses the second, and that will end the first half. So I think both coaches potentially happy with what circle if you're head coach Mike Leffler. You're down by just 3, and Allie Palmieri really has not had much of an impact on this game after scoring back-to-back career highs in her first 2 games as a Minute Woman.
You're definitely happy with that. Scoring by committee happened in the first half. Palmieri's getting back on the court. Maybe did some bike time to warm herself up over halftime, and we'll see if she can stay in there and affect the game here in the second half.
At just 11 minutes, thanks to 2 fouls within about 20 seconds of each other in that second quarter. Meanwhile, in St. Louis, the UMass Minute Women's soccer team have tied the score thanks to a goal from Bella Racinos, the A-10 midfielder of the year. And they are tied at 1 with the St. Louis Billikens in the A-10 Women's Soccer Championship match. Minute Women will start with the basketball in the second half. The Blue Devils down the stretch in that first half. 12 of the final 16 points scored by Central Connecticut State going into the locker room. And Allie Palmieri with the basketball, hoping to make more of an impact on this second half. Just 5 points in half number 1.
Yeah, we've got Odenabo back in too, who was in foul trouble early. So they started off the game looking inside, did well with that. We'll see if they get back there again. Now they have Olbreeze and Odenabo back in. Allie Palmieri didn't waste any time saying, I'm taking it to you. I'm ready. I got fresh legs, and come alongside and guard me. She's a great free throw shooter, shoots 100% and gets herself to the line each game.
And that foul coming on Selena Monestein, the transfer from University of Albany, 8.7 of which came in the first quarter. It's her third, so that could be a big foul in this game as well.
That is huge. She has been a leader out there today. She has handled the pressure well. She's executed the offense. She's played great defense. So as you can see, Coach Vini's leaving her on the court even with 3. Which is tough when you've got a first year who's out there for the first time. You got to trust them to stay on with 3, but she knows she needs her on the court.
Blue Devils catch a break as Palmieri misses both free throws.
Broadcaster jinx. I'm going to stop that before any more free throws.
Not the last time it'll happen. I can guarantee it. Maya Williams brings the ball up the floor for the Blue Devils, and Wade Vini electing to stay with Monestein with the 3 fouls. Sloppy pass. Momo Leclerc steps in for a steal. It's a 3-on-2 for UMass. McHale stays hot.
Pretty, really pretty. She's got such a great touch. It's on display here tonight what she can do on the offensive end.
You can make the argument she's been the best player on the floor for UMass tonight, at least in the first half.
Absolutely. And you see her guarding the point guard there too. She's also an amazing on-ball defender. In the first game against Harvard, she held Harmony Turner in check, who's really tough.
There's a foul on Odenabo, and here's another point, Aaron, on McHale. 18 minutes, just 1 turnover in that first half, and for a freshman point guard, that is key, isn't it?
Yeah. Like I said, I was thinking about what does Coach Vini want us to change at halftime, and I don't think she wants to change anything except telling them, you're all doing great, just do it again, another 20 minutes, and we're good to go.
Well, Sellers right now is matched up on McHale. They're going to try and run some 2-player game with her, and that pass a little too hot to handle.
Good look, but a little too hot, like you said.
Here comes McHale through traffic, locates Palmieri, and she bottoms a 3.
That's pretty play. And, you know, McHale's been doing a great job shooting, but what we also need to notice is that she's penetrating and dishing. There she dished out to the outside, and sometimes she's dropping it down low. So her movement on offense with the ball has created a lot for this team.
3 off the catch. Noeen missed everything. And locating her shooter and allowing Palmieri, who had a slow first half, not really involved because of foul trouble, to get a clean look to start this second half.
Absolutely, and I think Mike Leffler probably said something to Palmieri too. Let's get you going. She took it to the hole right away. She's getting a shot. He knows he needs her locked in this second half.
Good hands by Monestein, knocking away the dribble handoff. Palmieri runs it down, 14 on the shot clock. Palmieri into traffic. What a pass to Obrys.
Beautiful. Good things happen when they're in Palmieri's hands as well. That was a beautiful look and a great cut to the opposite block. And one of those, quote, easy buckets. She made it look easy, I guess. That was a very skilled play, but a good one when you can pretty much dunk it right there underneath.
Monestein had the dribble knocked away by Palmieri, who's playing with 2 fouls. Tough shot, maybe a force, and the rebound to Obrys. UMass has collected the momentum here to start the second half, but Palmieri travels in the open floor. How about this pass?
Yeah, beautiful. Really, really, really beautiful. 2 defenders come over on Palmieri because they know she's a scorer. Coach Vini was saying we got to really shut her down, so they're keen on her, and then she just drops it down there to Obrys, who's in a great position.
Monestein comes off for the Blue Devils. In her place, Dagny Slomak, the freshman, back in the lineup. Central Connecticut State has missed its first 2 shots. They have also turned it over twice to start the second half.
They're looking for a bucket here.
KENEFICK, they clear out the side for KENEFICK and Sellers. It's Noeen taking a 3 at the end of the shot clock, and Obrys with the rebound in traffic. Palmieri accelerates. Palmieri to the rim, can't get it to go off the window, and Sellers another rebound.
There you go.
Sellers runs the floor, can't finish over LeClaire. Up and down we go. The Minute Women will slow it up and get into their half-court offense, leading by 4. Sorrentino had some good moments in the first half, but here she turns it over. Noeen comes away with the loose ball.
Sellers saying, okay, let's just slow it down. Let's slow it down. Let's execute our half-court offense. We need a bucket here.
This nice pass by Williams. Sellers down the right side, can't finish, and a foul on the rebound.
Oh, that was pretty. That was pretty. Too bad she couldn't execute and get the bucket on that one.
It's a nice find by Williams, but Sellers, again, Sorrentino right in the middle of it underneath, making something happen.
Yeah, she's ripping down that board, and a little bit of a frustration foul, I think, for Sellers there. She's missed a couple here in the second half, and needs to take a deep breath. It looks like coach is taking her out for a minute, probably seeing that a little bit of frustration from her, and just giving her a chance to catch her breath and focus a little bit.
That's her second foul. UMass 3 of 5 to start the second half, and they were really trying to establish that high-low in the first half. There was a nicely executed play from LeClaire to Obrys underneath.
Yeah, beautiful off the wing, and Central Connecticut has been playing the posts like 3 quarters around, so UMass took an opportunity for that and did the lead to the basket. You know, let the girl front her a little bit and have that open to the basket. So beautiful pass by LeClaire.
KENEFICK open in the corner and connects. First bucket of the second half for the Blue Devils.
The leader is stepping up. That was a key. That was a really key bucket. So Mike Leffler's going with 2 point guards here.
Obrys again. Nice move, blocked by KENEFICK, gets it back, and the foul.
That's awesome. And Obrys, you know, that kind of shows her right there. She works hard, never gives up, and great play there.
Mike Leffler told us before the game, hey, we need Meghan Obrys to score if we're going to get to where we want to go. She's got 6 in a row now and 9 for the game as she goes to the line for a chance at 3.
Yeah, and she doesn't hold her emotion in either. She gets excited about that one, and that's another thing they're looking for, right? She brings the team together. She keeps them laughing. She keeps them excited and fires them up. So this is a key one, a key play for them here. And I didn't even say it. Another miss.
It must have been the thought. UMass up 5. KENEFICK from the elbow. 2 in a row for KENEFICK. All the offense so far in the second half for Central Connecticut State. KENEFICK has 14. UMass is 5 for 8. Palmieri, contested shot, comes up short. Rebound run down by Kayla Henry. So with Monostheim and Sellers both on the bench for Central Connecticut State before this next media stoppage, where does the offense come from for the Blue Devils besides Meghan KENEFICK?
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to figure out. Ooh,
McHale trying to go coast to coast and maybe a little bit out of control, as that was, I believe that was Slomak drawing the charge.
Yeah, and you could see that coming from miles away. She was there early. Good play. That'll get your team going.
One fight.
UMass has taken a 3-point lead on Central Connecticut State. The Minutewomen outscoring the Blue Devils 11-5 so far in this third quarter, alongside Harvard Hall of Famer Aaron Salvador. I'm Alex Jensen. Glad you're with us on this Sunday. You know, no matter how this game ends, at least through this point in the contest, Aaron, I think both coaches likely feel that each of their teams have taken a step forward so far this afternoon.
Yeah, when we spoke to each coach, they had their they had the things they were working on, and I think we're seeing a lot of execution of those today, and then overall the team's coming together nicely. And so I think you're right on with that.
There's the freshman Slomak tying the game with a 3. 5th triple of the game for Central Connecticut State, and for Slomak, her first points.
UMass coming out of that timeout in their 1-2-2 press. I'm sure they were hoping to get an easy bucket there. They got it past it and scored.
Olbrys again working on a career high. That's 11.
We were both excited to say her. That's 8 points in the paint too for UMass here in the second half.
8 of her 11 have come here in the third quarter, and it puts the Minutewomen back on top. Sellers and Monostheim still on the bench for Central Connecticut State. Weiskopf is back in there. Kayla Henry hands to Amaya Williams. Kick out. KENEFICK open again. This time it comes up short. Olbrys collects another rebound. Running the floor, Ferguson missed everything. Tough shot.
Yeah, it was a tough angle. Great run.
Sellers waiting at the scorer's table. Weiskopf almost lost the dribble for the Blue Devils. This game has been close throughout. Largest lead for either team has been 6. There's a travel by the freshman Dagny Slomak. Sellers will return for the Blue Devils.
And Central Connecticut, I mean, there we saw a travel, but they've really cleaned up their turnovers from that first quarter when I think they had 10, and I think their total is under 15 still. So they're doing a good job.
13 turnovers for the Blue Devils, 9 for UMass. Palmieri off a screen. 13 to shoot. McHale, the freshman. 8 to shoot. Palmieri looking to create, pulls up, top of the key. Nothing but net.
She's deadly off that pick, and you could see her call. She called to her teammates, set this for me, and I'll get something out of it.
How much of a luxury is it for a coach to have somebody who can create their own shot at the end of a shot clock like that?
It's really important, and I think you're going to see the ball in her hands all season in that time.
Palmieri, of her 10, 5 have come in the third quarter. Inside of 2 minutes to play in the third. KENEFICK along 2. Palmieri with the rebound.
So Central Connecticut not getting as many of those easy buckets, you know, inside. Sellers was getting a lot, and they're relying on sort of outside shooting so far in the third quarter. Haven't been falling as much as they did here in the first half.
McHale. Sellers with the rebound. She's inching closer to a double-double. 10 points, 9 boards. Has not scored here in the second half. As you mentioned, all of Central Connecticut State's production here in the third quarter have come from outside, and now Wade Veeney wants a timeout. So 62 seconds to play in the third quarter. UMass has jumped out to a 4-point lead. And the final minute 2 before the fourth coming up as Ali Palmieri makes her stamp on this ball game.
I lead a team focused on safeguarding our networks with real-time intelligence and behavior-based decisioning. But my true passion is supporting other women in the tech space. After all, tech is about shaping the...
This afternoon. So Central Connecticut State with the basketball. McHale out there with Ferguson, Palmieri, Momo LeClaire, and Olbreeze.
Let's see
for the Minute Women.
Yeah, let's see what Coach Veeney drew up for the after timeout here.
Freshman point guard Jessica Farrell turns it over. Or Farrell, pardon me. Olbreeze off the outlet. Can't get it to crawl home off the front iron. It's been a good matchup downstairs. Olbreeze and Sellers.
Yeah, absolutely. Two great athletes going hard.
And a 20-second differential between the clocks. UMass with a 4-point lead. The freshman Slomak. Both KENEFICK and Monestein on the bench right now for Wade Veeney. Two key players and a turnover on the Blue Devils. That's the 5th of the third quarter.
Yeah, those last two, your coach is saying, okay, I'm getting Williams back in, I'm getting KENEFICK back in. We need to execute a little bit. Don't want things to get run away a little bit here in the third quarter. So looking to shut UMass down and keep it a 4-point game.
Well, the shot clock is off. The freshman Yamani McHale, who has been one of the best players on the floor this afternoon, will let the clock roll. Shot clock is off. 9. Palmieri on the opposite side of the floor with 3. Palmieri downstairs to Olbreeze at the end of the quarter. Can't get it to go. And the Blue Devils with a stop. That means we go to the 4th. Hall of Famer Aaron Salvador. I'm Alex Jensen. Let's take a look at the Northeast Conference preseason poll. And Wade Veeney told us, Aaron, the Blue Devils have a goal of a conference championship. It would be their first in program history. This poll tells you that the rest of the league thinks they have a shot to finish second.
Yeah, they certainly do. And today they're looking like they can handle a competition that's coming at them. They're staying in this game. It's going bucket to bucket and maintaining their poise.
Meanwhile, for UMass, it's final season in the A10. Picked to finish 13th. And listen, a preseason poll is just that. If you're Mike Leffler, it's a preseason poll. And you want to try and outdo that 13th spot.
And sometimes that motivates you. You know, when the league doesn't think as highly as you think they should, you just want to show them what you got. Weiskopf
can't hit on a 3. UMass was 2-16 in the A10 a year ago, finished in 14th place, but finished hot. Here's Palmieri off the catch. Contested 3 is off the back rim, and Sellers skies in for a rebound. And her first double-double of the season. 10 points, 10 boards. You would think, Aaron, the way that UMass finished last year really gave Mike Leffler a sense of optimism despite all the newcomers. As a foul away from the ball. You add Ali Palmieri into the mix, you bring in Megan Olbreeze. And it really kind of an uplifting end to the season for his program last season.
Yeah, they got the last regular season win, and then they won in the first round of the A10 tournament. So that was definitely a high point, and I think he's pretty happy with where the team is this time this year. Certainly a win is gonna help.
Monestein crashes the boards and pushes it back to a one-possession game. Central Connecticut State had not scored for the previous 5 minutes, and Monestein cuts this to a 2-point Minute Woman lead.
And she didn't get much PT there in the third quarter because of foul trouble. She's making her impact right away.
Momo LeClaire draws a foul. Is that Monestein? It was.
It looks like it. So is that her 4th? Or I think that might be her 4th.
That is number 4 on Selena Monestein.
Great take there by Momo LeClaire. And she went right up with it. You know, sometimes the guards kind of fade away a little bit when they get down there with the bigs, but she took it right up, and that's why that foul was called.
So decision time for Wade Veeney. Another missed free throw for the Minute Women. They are 2 of 7 from the stripe. It looks like the Blue Devils are going to go to their bench with Lucia Nguyen waiting at the scores table. Leclerc missed them both, but Ferguson helps keep the rebound alive, and that turns into an open three for Palmieri.
That's beautiful, and you can see her with her feet set and her hands set before the pass even comes, saying, give it to me, give it to me.
Well, Lily Ferguson, Aaron, someone you told us makes those lists. This is game number 2 of a 5-game homestand. Monmouth, Holy Cross, and Army coming here to the Mullins Center over the next 13 days for going on the road to upstate New York in Siena.
And UMass with a little easier pre-conference schedule than last year, so I think they're really looking to get several wins under their belt before the conference season starts. Coming out in their aggressive 1-2-2 press right out of the timeout. I think Mike Leffler might be sort of tasting some blood, right? Getting that 5-point lead, setting up this press in a timeout, wanting to maybe get this to double digits when they can.
Dangerous pass, but it creates a 2-on-1 for the Blue Devils, and Sellers makes it pay. Another assist for KENEFICK.
Yeah, and it's another time when the Blue Devils have really handled the pressure well and really taken advantage of that press.
So it's a 3-point UMass lead. 8.5 minutes to play in this afternoon's ball game. Palmieri off a screen, passed up the open three, gets to Olbrys. Good patience, let the defender come by, gets the easy 2.
They're playing a good two-woman game out there, looking for each other. It's very nice.
Olbrys continues to build on a career high. She's got 13 points. A replay with Olbrys, just a little ball fake, getting a defender in the air. Here's Williams, a floater. Rebound secured by Leclerc. Palmieri.
Moving the ball nicely.
UMass is shooting 50% in the second half, 9 for 18. 10 to shoot. Palmieri, 15-footer, no. Out of bounds. There you see the update from St. Louis, the A-10 Women's Soccer Championship match. UMass and the Billikens tied at 1 in the 58th minute. Winner, of course, to an NCAA regional. For the NCAA tournament, I suppose. More full court pressure here from the Minute Women. Nearly creates a turnover. Momo Leclerc gets in there. But look at Mike Leffler, the body language off the bench.
Yeah, he's into this.
Yeah.
He's fired up. Let's get a win. Let's do it, girls.
Well, for a program that had losing streaks last year of 9 and 15, and he told us before the game today that this team needs a win to validate the progress they've made since the beginning of the summer. Came close against UNH. Williams got by McHale, uncontested.
Don't want to let up, right? They've been doing a lot of good things fundamentally on both ends. UMass a little bit of a lapse there on defense.
7 minutes to play. Leclerc is open. KENEFICK fouled on the rebound.
Really nice box out there, and that's where that foul came from, right?
You can see why Wavini loves Meghan KENEFICK. I mean, she's done so many things that don't show up on the stat sheet. They're sealing off her defender. She's done that a number of times. She may not get the rebound, but her defender or her assignment never does.
Absolutely, and those are the intangibles, right, that she was talking about.
Right.
We're a team of hard work, and the intangibles are just as important as the stats. So.
And Wavini hoping that's what comes through when you watch her team play. The hard work, the communication, the focus on intangibles.
And we're seeing that here today.
We are. She said this is a group that she doesn't have to coach effort. Thinks that really has a championship DNA to it. Palmieri. The kick out. Ferguson off the extra pass. Can't hit the three.
I might be looking to get to Sellers down low here. Get a bucket. Maybe off a pick and roll, or just have her post up really hard.
She's been quiet in the second half. Just 2 points. Slomak for three off the bounce, and she ties the game.
Or they'll take that.
Three is better than two.
You bet. We got a ball game. This is fun, Alex.
We sure do. It's been back and forth. Neither team has led by more than a half dozen. The freshman Slomak, you see, striping the three. Here's the Minutewomen freshman, McHale, too heavy on her triple, but the offensive rebound to Palmieri.
And the UMass faithful here in the house, and all those campers are really, they're having a good show here and rooting hard for their team.
Palmieri blocked by KENEFICK, and she tried to pick up the loose ball before reestablishing her feet back in bounds. So it goes back to the Blue Devils.
It's been a great atmosphere here tonight, you know, to play in front of. And we're seeing Kalasia come back in. She's been out for quite some time.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been some great play from other people off the bench, which is wonderful to see. Also seeing Sorrentino come back in. So a little bit taller lineup for UMass right now.
Sorrentino had a big impact on that first half. Meanwhile, Monestein is back into the ball game for Wavini.
Yeah, I think she needed to get her out there.
She's got 4 fouls. Another 3 from Slomak, this time from the corner. Monestein keeps it alive. Williams run out the line, and a travel is called. Williams can't believe it.
Her eyes got big when she saw that open lane.
Just a little too excited. Maya Williams, a senior.
I wouldn't be surprised here if Sorrentino, they went low with her. She just does such a great job of.
Here's Kalasia. Defense converges. Kalasia misses the shot, point blank, and commits a foul on the rebound.
They saw Kalasia with a big mismatch underneath, and she's great with her back to the basket. So that offensive set went straight to her.
Kalasia, that is foul number 3 on her. UMass has missed its last 6 shots. Like Forfeit, you said it. This has been a great ball game, Aaron. Back and forth we've gone.
We got the band. We got the cheerleaders. Everybody's chanting defense.
6 ties, 8 lead changes this afternoon. Whistle away from the ball, and a foul called on
Sellers.
Was it Sellers?
That was offensive as she was cutting through there. Yeah, so a battle here as she's trying to get to a spot in the lane, and called on Sellers.
It looks like they called it away. It's actually on Williams. I thought it was on Sellers too, but they got Williams away from the ball, and now another whistle. And Megan Olbreys picks up a foul on KENEFICK.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see that. Right, so, and each team has 3 fouls, so 2 more fouls and they'll be in the bonus, which may be important down the line here, right? Some free throws.
Still 4:20 to play in the 4th quarter, a tie game. Olbreys, nice move, can't finish. And now a foul called on Sorrentino. 14th foul on the Minutewomen. UMass has had some good looks the last couple of trips down the floor, just have not been able to convert. And as you get a look at the miss by Olbreys, and then the foul on Sorrentino trying to tie up Monestein.
Olbreys really can slip right under that baseline. Get her shot there pretty easily.
Less than 4 minutes to go. KENEFICK terminates the dribble with 10 to shoot. Sellers has it knocked away, and Sellers runs it down. 7 to shoot. Williams with 4. Williams a crossover and a drive and a tough shot. Did not draw iron, and Sellers picks up the offensive rebound, but the shot clock expires. Good defense by UMass.
Yeah, great defensive set there.
And Williams had to make something happen.
Yeah. Didn't hit the rim, so didn't reset.
Boy, every possession right now is critical for both teams. UMass has not scored in nearly 5 minutes. Ball in the hands of Palmieri. McHale will take a 3. Got it! Huge shot for the freshman.
And the crowd likes it, that's for sure. I think she's becoming a crowd favorite here. She's so darn spunky and fun to watch.
She is tough. Not afraid of the moment. 3 minutes to go. Monestein, KENEFICK for the tie. No. And the Minute Women will let it roll out of bounds, and they've got the ball. 2:54 to play, a 3-point lead. Now can they extend? Can they create a little separation here? Neither team has been able to do that so far this afternoon.
Yeah, it's been back and forth. Back and forth. Really tight game. And this is when your defense really, really matters, right? Each possession, you need to stop, you need to stop, you need to stop. That's what they just keep telling their players.
Trying to get it to Sorrentino. 9 to shoot. McHale down the right lane line. Can't finish off the window, and once again cannot establish herself back in bounds. It was a valiant effort, but just could not get the feet down before securing the basketball.
She was trying to find a way.
They'll have some fun with that on Monday when watching this game back on film, especially if they're able to hold on.
It was like a hopscotch move, right? That's from her childhood.
Slomax hit a couple of big shots. There's a sloppy pass. McHale has the steal, and she's all by herself to give UMass a 5-point lead.
Yeah, and she's playing to the crowd a little bit there, getting her arms up saying, let's go. She really made that happen, and that's a heady move.
Well, after we're tied at 53, she's got the last 5. Monestein, a tough shot, draws the foul on Olbreys. And with 1:57 to go, Monestein will go to the line. But how about Yamani McHale?
She knows this is the time. This is important. I'm going to make something happen with my defense. And there she goes. And look at her. Looking to the crowd. Let's go. Let's go.
You love a little bit of that from your point guard, right?
Yeah.
A team that's kind of in search of some leadership, still gelling. All these newcomers as Monestein hits her first free throw. Now, how much confidence as a freshman, Aaron, does it give you to make big plays down the stretch in a tight game like this, especially after a costly turnover on Thursday?
Yeah, that was a tough end of the game for her, but I think she's on to the next thing, and like you said, the big moment doesn't scare her. And I think she had a lot of those in high school, both on her high school team and her AAU team, so that serves her well coming into the college game.
There's a foul reaching in on the freshman Slomack, defending Palmieri. That was the final foul to give for Central Connecticut State. So 20 on the shot clock for the Minute Women, a 3-point lead, 1:42 to play. UMass has already matched. Now a horn, maybe an inadvertent horn, or
I think so.
They're going to look at the clock. UMass as a team, and we talk about offensive execution, they've already matched their season high in points. They had 58 opening day against Harvard in a loss, just 45 points here at home on Thursday.
So Central Connecticut really wants to stop here, right? Keep it a one-possession game.
Here's McHale. Will she call her own number again? Gives it up to Palmieri. 5 to shoot. Palmieri, a step back, and hits a 3.
She's not afraid of the big moment either, Alex.
So we talk about creating your own shot at the end of the clock, and a timeout taken by Central Connecticut State. Yamani McHale and Allie Palmieri. How much does the clock come into play? Do you take the first good look you get? I mean, 2 or 3, as you mentioned, doesn't matter, but how much is the Blue Devils going to be in a hurry here with 1:13 to play, down by 6?
Well, I don't think they need to hurry. I don't think they need to get it off in 3-4 seconds, but they do need to try to get their first execution. There you go. Right there.
Yep. Quick offense. Got it to go. Down to a 4-point UMass lead.
Right, and so they don't need to foul here either, right? They can just play good defense. They need to get a stop and keep it to a 2-possession game.
Inside of a minute to play. Ball's in the hands of Palmieri. 12 to shoot, 47 on the game clock. LeClaire. Olbreys, 5 to shoot. Yamani McHale stops, pulls up, got it! Ice water in the veins of the freshman. Another 6-point lead for the Minute Women inside of 30 seconds to play, and now time becomes a factor for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, certainly.
Slomack, that would have been a big shot if it went down, and now a foul on the rebound. Tied up Palmieri there. And
Look at
KENEFICK.
this. Talk about creating your own shot at the end of the shot clock when the game is pretty much on the line. As a beautiful step back. Beautiful. Her and Ali Palmieri may be doing some shooting off practice time together because their move there looks pretty similar.
McHale, 7 points, 7 of her 20 here in the fourth quarter. She's got a game-high 20 to go along with 7 assists. As we talked about earlier, just 2 turnovers as KENEFICK misses a key free throw for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, she'll want to make this, and then they'll probably set up a full-court press, I would imagine, because now they need to foul. They need the ball back.
She missed them both. KENEFICK, good sign of sportsmanship there to Meghan Olbrys, and now UMass can really taste it. Heading to the line with 19.2 on the clock, and Olbrys, who's got a career-high 13 points tonight, heading to the free throw line.
And like I said earlier, you're looking for free throws at the end of the game, right? So those 2 free throws that were missed are big, and these are big to try to put at least one of them in to stretch this out to a 3-possession game. That was a big one.
UMass has struggled from the line tonight, this afternoon, rather. Now just 3 of 9 from the stripe. Olbrys continues to build on a career high. She's got 14, and now she's got 15. So UMass now with a commanding 8-point lead with 19 seconds to go, and Mike Leffler calls time. You can see the body language of the Minutewomen, Aaron, and it just validates what Mike Leffler told us before the game. We just
each other, right? There's been a lot of different players stepping up tonight, a lot of bench points, reserve time, so they've really done it as a team. I think they're going to feel really good about what looks like it's going to be a win, unless we see something pretty miraculous here. Certainly not over till it's over.
The Blue Devils need to hurry. Williams still out by the logo. 15 on the clock. KENEFICK, they've got to get a shot up here quickly, trailing by 8, and a foul is called on Ferguson, and a break for the Blue Devils as KENEFICK will get 3 free throws now, and Central Connecticut State with that foul still ever so slightly the door open for Wavini's team.
Slightly, ever so slightly, yes. So certainly not a great play there. I don't think Ferguson thought she got her, but you certainly don't want to, when you've got the lead at the end of the game, you don't want to foul, stop the clock, and let them get points, right? And also, this will give them a chance to set up a press if she puts these in and try to get that. They can't do the fouling game too much. They really need to get a steal here out of the inbounds to be able to have a chance.
KENEFICK, after missing 2, hits all 3, and now Wavini will take a timeout. Central Connecticut State, that was their last timeout. UMass still has 3.
And, which is very helpful, especially in this situation when there's not much time left.
How about crunch time for UMass, who did not score over the last 5 minutes on Thursday in a 3-point loss to UNH? And boy, have they had come up with some big shots here down the stretch. 12 points in the final 3 minutes and 15 seconds for the Minutewomen, and a foul before the ball is even inbounded. So no time comes off the clock, and it's going to be the freshman Yamani McHale going to the line for 2, and UMass leading by 5.
And Central Connecticut without timeouts, right? But as soon as that play happened, you saw their leader, KENEFICK, just bringing the whole team together and say, we're going to do this. We're going to do this off this. So you really need that leader on there the whole game, and the end of the game is really, really important.
So here's Yamani McHale, and of all the numbers that she's given her team this afternoon as she misses the first free throw, 37 minutes, 2 turnovers.
Yeah, just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And it
McHale splits the free throws inside of 10 seconds to go. A 6-point UMass lead, and a travel on Williams, and that may do it. 6.2 to go, and a 2-possession lead for UMass.
So UMass is going to come away with a win. I think Central Connecticut should be really proud of a lot of things they did tonight. Their team execution, they handled the pressure. Their young players got time. Multiple players scored in double figures. They stuck together, and UMass is coming away with a win. They're happy with that.
Now the Minutewomen in the win column for the